Last episode, we fitted a new distributor and finally left Exmouth. It wasn't all smooth sailing as Joey was overheating, so we could only drive at night. We made it to Perth, our leaky exhaust got fixed, Will flew home to visit family, and my parents flew to Perth for a mini southwest road trip. You're all caught up. Enjoy the next step.
G'day, I'm Will.
Woo, how good is this?
And this is Luce.
Let's do it!
And together, we are travelling around Australia in our 1987 Toyota Hiace named Joey.
Oh, no way.
It's such a nice day.
Follow along to see these roads we roam.
Once Will got back to Perth, we got stuck into ironing out any issues Joey still has before we head to the southwest. First step was fitting a new carburetor.
For those who have been watching for a while now, you'll know the original Carby kicked the bucket when we were near Uluru and we had to camp out roadside for 2 weeks while we waited for a new one to be posted. At the time, the easiest option to get us back on the road was a Chinese-made replica Carby. So we fitted that, but it wasn't long before we started having issues, and ever since we've been fixing and adjusting. So we found a Weber Carby, which hopefully will be a lot better. So the old carburetor's out, but we've run into a couple of issues with fitment for this new one. So that's where the old base plate was sitting. We'll reuse that gasket because it's the only one I've got that fits, but this is the adapter plate here that helps the new one seat up properly, and it starts with this kind of, where's the angle, this kind of zigzag crooked stud here, but those two went in all happy. Now this plate will go over the top of those like that and sit there nice and happy. My problem is now that the threads don't line up properly with the adapter plate there. So when I have to put these ones in, well, they're not going in at all. I'm gonna have to file these two holes down a little bit, but all the way through this thickness of metal here as well, so the countersunk screws can still go in. Fun.
Gotta get the chippies in.
Gotta get the chippies in. Feel the frustration. So I filed and filed some more until the base plate finally fit in place. Hey, we got him in. Took quite a bit of custom fabrication, but yeah, that's in. It's not going anywhere. It'll be even stronger once the carburetor and these extra nuts are on top holding that down there. Righto, so we just got to pop the actual Carby in, figure out how we're going to mount up this accelerator cable. Unfortunately, our automatic transmission kick-down cable is going to be no longer usable, but we'll have the accelerator cable plugged in, do all the little bit of vacuum lines that it needs, and we should be right to fire it up. Hopefully it should be good. Hey, look at that. Shiny new carburetor, and it sneaks past our little throttle plate, our throttle cable bracket as well, so that fits. Just got to run a little wire that connects our electronic choke all the way around to its little connector here. But yeah, gee, it's starting to come good. Got fuel. Just got to link up the throttle cable at the back. And then we should have a bit of extra spicy womboom power. And there we have it. About 4 hours and 2 trips to the tool shop later, we have a shiny new carburetor with an air filter on top. That will eventually change, but we'll go back to its normal thing. But until I can get something to fit the new carburetor, this will do us for now. Oh man, looks a bit sporty. Things were good until they weren't. We were happy with how the new carburetor was performing, but something still wasn't right, and then this happened. Bubbling in your coolant is never a good sign, but we didn't panic. We booked a mechanic to check over everything and edited a video while we waited for the call. When the mechanic got back to us, he confirmed that the head gasket was indeed leaking again, and gases from the cylinders were making their way into the cooling system. This was heartbreaking to say the least, as we were once again back to square one and in need of a proper engine rebuild. Now this leaves us with two options. We stay and repair Joey in Perth for roughly $6,000, plus having to find work and accommodation for the 6-week repair period. Option 2, we truck Joey back home to New South Wales where Dad and I can rebuild the motor ourselves, saving labour and accommodation costs. However, we won't be able to explore the southwest this time.
Will's Car Reviews.
Alrighty, back with another pie review. We're at Crystal Brooks Eatery, just in like southeastern Perth here. We're just been hanging out at the caravan park right around the corner here while we're waiting for a tow truck to come get Joey and take him back to Wagga so we can do our engine rebuild. But I thought while we're sitting here killing time, it's an absolute cracker of a day. Let's hook into a pie. This is the beef and cheese. Alright, so we've had a bit of a chew. Same point as before, it's all well held together, not falling out, it's not just full of useless sloppy gravy. Probably one of the most filling pies I've ever eaten. It's got the shortbread style pastry, puff on top, and every bite is just almost a bloody meal in its own. I have just put the shredded cheese on top instead of just stirring it in, so you just kind of get that bit on top, but it probably needed to be cooked a bit longer to melt it a bit better. The meat itself, just a nice mild pepperiness to it. Could probably have gone a lot chunkier on the actual beef, but as a whole, solid pie. I mean, I'm full as a boot already. I mean, mixing it with a gut full of iced coffee probably doesn't help either. But all in all, I'd probably have to land this one at about a 6.5.
So Joey was off on a long journey from Perth to Wagga, and we headed to the airport for a very late flight. We had a flight from Perth to Melbourne with a few hours to wait in Melbourne airport, and then a flight to Canberra, where Will's little brother would pick us up to take us back to Wagga. It was a very long day with not much sleep.
You look a bit tired. Midnight boarding. Yeah. It's been a big day.
So after breaking down an Exmouth, fitting 2 head gaskets, replacing the distributor, replacing the carburetor, fitting a new exhaust and fixing a leaky exhaust, to ending up needing to do a full engine rebuild. Many people have asked, do you regret not just sending it to Perth and doing a rebuild initially? And the short answer is no. We have learnt so much during this process, and this is all part of being on the road. As to getting a new van, never. Joey was always worth saving, and we've put too much work into him to give up now. He just needs a bit of TLC.
$5.16, but it's really actually 3:15 Western Australia time.
Yeah, it was a pretty quick flight for the distance.
This journey isn't over yet, but we will get Joey back on the road in no time.